Hi guys, so welcome to the second part of tuples, Introduction to Tuples, Python tuples. I call this one tuples functionalities. In the initial video, we looked at how to create tuples and what tuples are, the fact that they are immutable and that you can create them using parentheses. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with, show you the functionalities of tuples. Now, because we have created a tuple here, the last tuple we created was tuples underscore cars underscore copy. So let's just look at that, right? Now, because tuples are immutable, they don't really have much. They don't really have much functionalities, right? And of course, by now you would know that to check for functionalities we use the dir function, and inside we basically put our tuple inside, and then it shows you. Of course, you're going to see a lot of dunder methods, but we're looking at. You can see this method. You can see the two methods we have here, right? So here we just have these two methods. Let me call this tuple methods, right? So underneath, I'm just going to put the two methods there. Now let's make it a lot smaller, right? So this is just what we have. These two guys is what we have here: count and index. Now you use count to find out the numbers of elements, or how many numbers of elements that are inside of a tuple, right? Or rather, we use it to find out how many elements match the values that you've passed into your tuple. So for instance, we look at this. Let me see. We have tuple underscore cars. Yep. And then now we want to match if we have cars inside of it. So for us to check that, we'll be like tuple, call the tuple here. Look at that, right? Then we put the dot, then we get the count. Then inside the bracket, I am going to put one of these guys in here. So let me just use the Volkswagen. And then I put them in here. Now with this, it's going to count how many Volkswagens we have, and just one. Now imagine if, so that's just basically what we have. If we had two of them inside of it, it will basically count that. So that's basically what the count does, right? So let me document it. It counts the number of elements, right, as it matches the values. Yes, as it matches the values in the tuple. So this is kind of long, but I mean, you get the point, right? Now the next thing we want to check is we want to look at the index. Now with the index, again, it's pretty simple. Here we just basically call tuple. Okay, we have tuple numbers here, so you can see we have that. Now with this, you can put dot index. Now it's basically telling you if we have an index in here, we're going to find out where the index lies, right? So let's look at 5. So we have 5 here, and it tells us where the index is. It tells us is at 4. So again, if I was to print tuple underscore numbers, right, you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's exactly what it is. So here again, I will document this and say we basically find the numerical position. That's what it is, the numerical position. So that's what we have here. So basically not really much to show off, but again, we know that tuples are immutable. So I mean, we cannot modify them. So but just just to prove that, we have tuple underscore numbers, and then we say I want to change the first, that's 0. I want to change 0, and I want to see if I can, I want to change that. And then I was thinking basically I wanted to just insert inside it, but I want to change the first, so which is number 1, right? I want to change it. I want to make it 0. So I put 0 here, and of course, you know, the tuple does not assign support item assignment. So here, proof that tuples are immutable. So that's what we have here. So tuples are immutable. And any other thing trying to show up? Okay, finally, I think we can also concat tuples. So which means we can take 2 tuples and join them together, right? Which is concatenation. Yeah, so what that shows us is, say I have a couple of tuples, and I'll basically create 2 tuples. So the first tuple, I'll call this first underscore tuple, and inside of it, inside the tuple, I'm basically going to create a tuple. And now what will I call this? Inside, I'll call this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. That's what we have here. So let me see. So we have our tuple here, and I know you're getting the sense like, wait, hold on, what's going on here, right? Now, when you concatenate a tuple, right, you can see that the variable basically isn't the same, it's changed. So this just lets you know that, you know, since they're immutable, like you want to be sure that it hasn't changed because of the whole conversation. So we're going to find that out. So we have this, and to find that out, I can basically say ID, and I'll say first underscore tuple, right? So you can see the ID of a tuple. Now we're going to create second, and then we'll call this underscore tuple, and inside of it I am going to have 4, 5, and 6. Right, you see the whole intuition. So here, create tuple. Here, we check its ID to see if there's a change. So here we're checking IDs. And then here we create another tuple. Right, so you can see now that we have this. Now we can go on. Now, so what we want to do, just to be sure, we can also check our ID of the second underscore tuple. Right, you can see what we have. We got that. Now, what we're going to do is that we are basically going to see if we can concat 2 of them, right? And how do we do that? Now, an interesting thing is basically thinking of even if we're going to concat it, how we are going to do it, right? What we are basically going to do is we could look at this. I wanted to do this, but okay, let me see. We have first underscore tuple, and then we can use the augmentation operator, which is plus equal to operator, and then we could just add, say, that 4, 5, 6 we wanted. So let's just put it 4, 5, and 6. Does that work? Right, now what we now look at first underscore tuple. So we see we have this 4, 5, 6, but then we're looking at it, and we're trying to check our ID of our first underscore tuple. Right, so now you see what has happened here. Right, now we don't have a same, we don't have the same tuple, right? It's, you know, so what it does is that the ID number changed after the concatenation. So that means we have created a new object. So that means we didn't update anything the immutable level still remains. So what we have is a new object. So you can see over here, concatenation creates a new concatenation creates a new object, and which is of course the tuple. So there's not assignment happening, so it's just a whole new one. We still maintain this guy still maintains itself, and this is a whole new. So you see, we use this just to maintain that conversation that tuples, you know, are immutable, they can't change. So we have a new tuple, you can add to it and we have a whole new tuple, so you haven't changed anything. I was just trying to see if I could do this with this, but in the end I created another tuple that I didn't really need to use. So again, just to to give a recap, tuple functionalities, count and index, not much, just two. For count, it counts the number of elements as it matches the value. So if you just have one stuff, if you have one element inside, it tells you, oh, there's one element. If it's a number, it will tell you how many numbers are inside that. Then we checked out index, where that finds the numerical position, and here you can see it's 5. The numerical position is 4. Then we also show the proof that tuples are immutable. We tried to assign to them, but it didn't work. Then finally we created a tuple, and then we tried to show that we can concatenate tuples. However, when we concatenate a tuple, right? Let me even put it here. When you concatenate a tuple, the tuple the tuple changes to a whole new stuff. You did not add to it. You didn't do stuff. So it's just to prove that. So we'll call this tuple concatenation. So we can document this tuple concatenation, right? So that we can see that you can concat that a tuple, and that basically works, but it doesn't change anything inside. Rather, something new comes out. And in order to prove that, we use IDs. IDs basically show you their memory tags, quote unquote, you know, for lack of a better explanation, a memory tag. And then we see that the memory tag changes when there's a concatenation, right? So take time out and watch this just so you can understand the data structure tuple, and share with your friends and enemies so that they can understand Python one object at a time.